Hi everyone, and welcome to the next game in the Capablanca series. This time we're going to look at a game he played in New York in 1910 against a very strong player originally from Belarus called Charles Jaffe. He emigrated to America in 1896, and modern analysis has proved that he was of grandmaster strength and easily within the best 25 players in the world at the time. But he was greatly obscured by both Capablanca and Marshall, who were very active in America when Jaffe reached his peak, which was around the time that this game was played. And in fact, he and Kappa would later become bitter enemies after Kappa accused him of losing deliberately to Frank Marshall at a tournament in Havana in 1913, which Marshall ended up winning, and it was a great blow to Capablanca because it was being played in his hometown. The ultimate result of this was that Jaffe never played again in the same tournament as Capablanca. And interestingly, he did cable Alexander Alekhine some deep analysis he'd done of the Queen's Gambit decline lines during his 1927 World Championship match with Kappa that Alekhine won, much to the incredulity of the chess world. So maybe he got the last laugh after all, but that's another story anyway. To get into this game, Kappa had the white pieces and he opened with d4, after which came d5, knight f3, knight f6, e3, c6, c4, and after e6 and knight c3, the game is transposing into a semi-Slav defense of the Queen's Gambit declined. Play continued, knight b d7, bishop d3, bishop d6, castles, and e4, threatening e5, which would win a piece. So Jaffe played d takes e4. Then came knight takes e4, knight takes e4, bishop takes e4. And you can see that the setup here is one we've looked at in the videos on middle game theory. The absence of a knight on f6 makes the bishop takes h7 sacrifice a very strong threat for black to deal with here. So Jaffe defended correctly by moving his remaining knight to f6, and Kappa retreated his bishop to c2, and the loss of tempo here allows a passive response from Jaffe, who played h6, which is mostly prophylaxis against any knight g5 ideas. So then Kappa played b3, which is preparing to fianchetto on the queen's side, and we're still within book lines here, although at the time this was played that might not have been the case. Jaffe answered in an effectively symmetrical fashion with b6, and both sides fianchettoed, and it was the last book move of the game. And Kappa now played queen d3, and it's a strong move that ensures white an edge for the middle game. Amongst other things, he's threatening d5 followed by bishop takes f6, where black wouldn't be able to recapture the bishop on f6 without being mated on h7 by the queen, and so white will win a piece. And Jaffe chose to defend with g6, which perhaps wasn't the best way as it creates more weaknesses. Fritz preferred instead rook e8, just giving the king some breathing space, and it's an effective enough way to defend, although black must still take care. There's still some latent threats in the position, but g6 is what he played anyway. So then came rook a e1 and knight h5, intending to swing the knight down to f4, but it's not a good move, all things considered. Kappa countered it easily with bishop c1, and it's a good move because it combines defense with attack, because he's attacking the undefended pawn on h7, which is a weakness that he provoked a few moves earlier. So it's all classic attacking chess, and Jaffe defended with king g7, but this was a blunder that allowed a very nice tactical shot from Kappa. If you want to try and spot it, then stop the video now. Okay, the move he played was the powerful sacrifice, rook takes e6, which ensures a winning advantage in every continuation. The rook can't be captured, or its mate. Let's have a look. If f takes e6, then queen takes g6 check, because the defense of that pawn on g6 is gone, because the f pawn has taken the rook. King h8 is the only move, and now queen h7 is mate. And what Jaffe did play after rook takes e6 was knight f6, and to his credit, it's the best defense, although it's still looking very bad for black, and he's just lost yet another tempo, moving his knight back to f6. And losing a tempo here and there doesn't matter so much at club level chess, but at the highest levels it's a crucial concept to consider. And Kappa again now found the strongest move with knight e5, the knight coming to a strong central outpost. And now, not surprisingly, Jaffe cracked under the pressure and blundered with c5. His best hope was bishop takes e5, or after rook takes e5 and knight g4, white is only a pawn up, but has a far superior position and should win, but there's still a game to play, there's still some play to be had here. He should be able to last maybe, 20 moves, 30 moves, something like that, and pray that Capablanca makes a blunder, loses a piece or something like that somehow, though it's extremely unlikely. There's a slim chance. But that wasn't the case, and after c5, Kappa played yet another great move at this position here. Again, if you want to try and spot it, then stop the video now. Okay, what he played was bishop takes h6 check, which again is by far the strongest move in the position, and now white has a winning attack. And to make matters worse, Jaffe blundered by accepting the sacrifice with king takes h6. His only hope to try and hold out was king g8, but now comes knight takes f7 check, where white retains a winning advantage in every continuation. Best play continues. Bishop takes h2 check, king takes h2, queen c7 check, queen g3, rook takes f7, rook takes f6, queen takes g3 check, f takes g3, rook takes f6, rook takes f6, king h8, where white is a bishop and 2 pawns up, and the game will be over relatively quickly. But as I said, Jaffe accepted the bishop sacrifice, which led to an even quicker end. Let's see. King takes h6 is what he played. Now comes knight takes f7, which is yet another sacrifice, although this isn't a true sacrifice, as it leads directly to mate next move, which Jaffe saw and resigned at this stage of the game. Let's have a look at the possibilities. If rook takes f7, then queen takes g6 is mate. If king g7, queen takes g6 again is mate. If king h7, queen takes g6 is mate. And the only other possibility for black is king h5, but now queen h3 is mate. So that's it, a great attacking game from Capablanca and a win in only 20 moves. I'll replay it with the threatened squares highlighted just so you can see it from start to finish. So yeah, just 20 moves. So it's easily a miniature. A miniature is a game that's won in 25 moves or less, and it's something that all players are proud of, when they achieve it. So 20 moves, it's a incredible achievement, especially against someone as strong as Jaffe was. Like I was explaining, he's not especially well known, but Engines calculated his playing strength to be, if he was alive today, he would be about 2600, something like that. So it's just amazing that Kappa can make mincemeat out of him like this. It's a brilliant play. I think there was, they weren't true sacrifices, but the offering of sacrifices I think was about 3 or 4 pieces there from Kappa, and every sacrifice completely sound. He's a master of calculation. So there's the first one. Which he didn't accept, but that would have been unwise. And there's the second one, which he did accept. and the third one finishes the game. So yeah, 3 so-called sacrifices to generate just an absolutely crushing and winning attack for white. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that and found it instructive. Please leave any comments or thoughts. Thanks very much.